Hey, it's White Collar Garage, and on this episode we're going to change the front brakes on this 2002 Chevy Tahoe. Pretty much any of the Chevy Tahoes from 2000 on up are going to be exactly the same. So let's get started. Okay, once you get the tire off, you're going to need a Torx bit, a male Torx bit, and that's what it looks like right here. And this is a T55, it's what it's called. And that's what holds on these calipers right here. And these are going to be pretty tight, so you're going to have to muscle down on them pretty good. When you take a caliper off, make sure you only loosen each one of them up. Because if you take the bolt all the way out and then you got to pull on it and it's the wrong direction and the caliper could flip open on you and stuff. So make sure you loosen them both up before you take the bolt all the way out. Now we're going to take this caliper, and there's little cups inside there, or little tangs on the back of there's little tabs on the back side of the brake pad, so that's why we can't get this caliper all the way out. So we got to collapse this caliper a little bit and then it'll come off. I'm going to take this big C-clamp, push it around on the back, and just pull it in a little bit. This is a 2-piston caliper, so you got to do the bottom one a little and then the top one a little. Make sure you don't catch the C-clamp on the brake line right here, or you'll have to replace the brake line. So we're just going to push that in a little bit. Guess we'll have to collapse it a little more. You can see the little tabs I'm fighting right now. Flip the caliper over on the top. Now we pull out one of the brake pads. Put it up in here. Get the caliper sideways so we can get the C-clamp up in here. Since this is a 2-piston caliper, when you put the C-clamp on there, you want to make sure you put it in between the 2 pistons so you collapse this evenly. Okay, now it's collapsed all the way in. You want to make sure that you don't pull on this brake line too hard and move this caliper around too much and kink the brake line. Now we're going to slide this brake pad out. Pretty easy. And look, these were worn down so bad that it broke the warning tab off. So they've been needing this brake job for quite a while. Okay, now you're going to want to take these caliper bolts right here and you're going to want to put a little sill glide on them. Just use a little tiny bit. If you put too much on there, when you go to put them inside, they're going to lock up and hold the caliper on. And you don't want that to happen. As you can see, I barely put any on there. That's all it takes, is just that little dab, because this still has some on it. There you go. Make sure when you put the caliper back on, you don't twist the brake line right here. You want to make sure it was in the same position as it was before. Okay, so you're just going to want to repeat this same procedures on the other side, and then we'll put these tires on, we'll torque them down, we'll pump the brake pedal to make sure that the pistons come out to the calipers, and then we'll recheck the brake fluid level to make sure that it's still full. We might have to add some. Okay, so I use this torque stick. It's a 120 foot-pound torque stick, and you want to make sure that you always torque down the lug nuts so you don't get any warped rotors or anything else going on. And then you want to go in a crossing pattern also, and you want to snug it up. And now we'll do the final torque. If you don't have this, you want to torque these to 120 foot-pounds. You want to get them as tight as you can up in the air, then drop it down on the ground and tighten it up. Never tighten a wheel up on the ground. It won't seat against the rotor correctly. It won't tighten up right, and it'll come off on you later on down the road. Okay, so we got done with the front brakes. Make sure you pump that pedal a bunch of times till it gets real hard, and double check your master cylinder. We did all that. It's full, no problems. We've taken it on the test drive. And whenever you just do pads on these rotors, you want to make sure there's not a big lip on them. You also want to make sure when you hit the brake before you do this that the pedal doesn't pulsate or the steering wheel doesn't shake when you hit the brakes. If the steering wheel shakes or the pedal pulsates real bad, you're going to want to go ahead and change these front rotors when you do the brake pads. But we didn't have any of that going on today, so everything's looking good. And thanks for watching White Collar Garage.